Now, because I've established a basis here around the three avenues of wealth in no particular order as far as real estate investments and starting your own business, I now want to follow up and create a little more foundation here on one of these topics that seems to be the most prevailing right now, which is real estate. And that's because what I do have is general knowledge as a financial advisor. What I have certification in investing. As of right now, as I initially established, I want us to focus on real estate, which is important. And I want to talk about some of the intricacies of acquiring a property. And for example, as you can see here, I've identified 4 of the most important stages you're going to go through as it pertains to acquiring a property. You're going to go through a lender. You're going to have to focus on your credit score. You're going to have income, be it personal income or investment property income. And we can touch on that a little more later. And not only are you going to have income, like I said, credit, lending, income, but last but not least, you have to have what they call cash reserves. Cash reserves. That's what you're going to use for down payment and things like that. Where they come. And down payment and sometimes even paying for an appraisal. It just depends on the lender. But down payment for sure. So those 4 things that I've identified here today, I want to start by talking about lending because these topics are humongous. And so we could spend a year talking about lending. These processes are humongous and they're constantly evolving. They're constantly changing. So I want us to talk about lending. Within lending, there are a lot of complications. So in this topic, to also draw us a line and create some separation, we're going to talk about acquiring a property as an individual, acquiring a property as your first-time home buyer. And then, as we complete these discussions, we're then going to focus on acquiring a property as an investment property, which is also a different lending process as well. So, again, if you get the jits, these topics are detailed. And I want to bring you along. And as I talk about these things, I want to also talk about the understanding. There's the mindset, because not all of us have these things. And if you're at home and you're stressing at night and your money is low and you don't know how you're going to be able to do it, that's great. That's why I want you here. Those are the people I am targeting. Because that's who I was. I was the guy in my bed at night stressing at a very young age. I had children early, and I felt the pressure to be able to succeed, to be somebody. My life within myself, I've always felt that like I was going to be somebody. And so I didn't want to waste my opportunity. I didn't want to waste my God-given talents. And because of that passion, that desire, I started to really dive deep into these different topics and these different things. And it's not a coincidence that I became a financial advisor, although it seems like it's a coincidence. Preparation equals opportunity. Anyhow, when we go back into lending, before I digress here, and again, this is the reason why we're having. This is the reason why this channel is existing, is because the focus is on those people who don't have it, who are stressing and are stuck. Those are the people I want to talk to as well. And again, we're going to have a vast amount of information that would be great for everybody. It's for everybody. But I'm letting you know that if you're in bed and you're stressing at night and you don't know how to do it, but you desire to do it, this is where you want to be on my channel. Again, my name is Gerald Addy. This is Legacy Building, and it starts with you. And on this channel, I talk about the 3 avenues of wealth building, real estate investments, and starting your own business in no particular order. As we delve today, we're focusing more on real estate, and I'm letting you know what it takes to acquire the property. It starts with you first. So creating the focus, creating the mindset, setting the goal, and establishing the plan. And once you follow these processes, you're going to succeed. you're going to succeed. And always have faith as you put God into everything you do. Because, again, with the Spirit of God in you, you're able to continue to see the beauty in the ugliness. And that's what allows you to succeed. Because the struggle is ugliness. And only the few who are able to embrace the struggle, the ugliness, are able to see the greatness of it. So, as I was saying here, in acquiring a rental property, we're going to talk about lending. There are a lot of things a lender wants to see. And all of these topics, as we touched on, the four key things you want to have. A lender is examining these things. It starts with the lender. He creates these requirements. Because remember, when you're purchasing a property, you're not taking your earned money to buy anything in America, if you live in America. However, if you live in somewhere in Africa and you're taking your own money to buy something, that's also different as well. And we're also going to talk about being a lender, being a landlord, and some of the difficulties of being a landlord and how we can alleviate some of these difficulties. So stay tuned. But again, the lending process, as it pertains to a lender, is intense. The lender is the one who has the money, and he's creating stipulations or guidelines around which he feels comfortable in giving you his money, he or she. Does that make sense? So when she's borrowing you or he's borrowing you money, he or she wants security. And so with a lender, they want to know that you have consistent income, but not only have consistent income, but you have income that is going to be able to sustain income that's going to be able to sustain the financial weight that acquiring a property would bring on to your finances. Does that make sense? The lender wants to understand what impact this property, when you acquire it, is going to have to your consistent income. How is that going to adjust your livelihood? That's important to the lender because he wants to make sure that he's borrowing his money to a person that is in a stable state. So you have to show stability, which is why you have to show cash reserves. Having a savings shows that you're not living at the brim of life. You have some safety net. That shows responsibility. Your credit also shows responsibility. It shows that you've been able to be consistent in anything you've been involved with. It's your history. They use your history, your credit. So if you're in Africa and you want to get a tenant, you want to examine that tenant's credit, their history. Who are you? Who's this person? Who knows him? Where's his family? In America, they want to see your credit. There's a number that we watch based on the credit. That's everything here we borrow to live life. So they examine your credit. Once they examine your credit, they've seen that you have some excess money. They've also seen that you have income that is consistent, and it can sustain the weight of a new property. They've seen that as well. The lender feels more comfortable. So I'm going to teach you, for those of you who are there, that's great. Now you understand what you're looking at. Now you understand how you can position yourself. For those of you who do not know how to position yourself to accomplish this goal and you're struggling at night, I want you to get up. What's going on right now for you is that you've allowed yourself to become self-contained by your stress. I know because I've lived it. I've had the desire to win so bad that I had sleepless nights. But that was the problem. The problem was that I put too much of the expectation of me, and I say expectation purposefully, the expectation of me to succeed, to be successful in any aspect of my life. Again, in all aspects of my life, the expectation to be successful was there. And so because I put that expectation on myself, I started to violate the presence and the reason why the world around us exists. Things that we can't comprehend, we can't explain. Science can't explain. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understandings. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. So when you're at home and you're sleeping at night and you're resting, when you're at home, you're in bed and you can't sleep and you're tossing and turning, I'm letting you know that that's the point in the time where you need to get up, get to your feet, pray to God, and give him all of these troubles that you're carrying. Tell him to take them off your shoulders. You don't need to carry them. They're not your expectations. They're his expectations of you. And he's going to deliver on his promise. That's what the word dictates. That's what the word of God says. Remove the weight of your shoulders and let God take the weight that he expects of you. That's his expectation. Once you do that and you start to focus on your steps that you need to take to be prepared to meet your opportunity. But you have to first relieve yourself of the stress, because when you're in the mindset of stressing over something, you can't think of a solution through it. Again, when you're overwhelmed with anything, you don't think of a solution through it. So you have to get up, you have to pray your way through that, allowing God to remove the weight off of you, and then come back so I can put together with you a plan on how you can succeed. And that plan starts with understanding your finances. You have something. And if you don't have a job, then you need to find a job. Something has to pay you to put money into your account. And then you have to decide what your expenses would be and what you want to save. Because the first goal is to buy you a car, find a place that you can live for yourself. Whatever that goal is, we're going to quantify that based on your monthly income and your expenses to see how you can get there. What do you need to do? I can put together a plan with you. So stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel. Let's build a legacy together, brick by brick.